From your wake up this morning, you's a winner, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Soca Warriors officially kicked off their 2019 Gold Cup campaign versus Panama in a match they lost 2-0. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dominic Rich, and in this video I like to talk about the final first round matches that were played in Group D between Panama and Trinidad and Tobago, and the USA playing Guyana. First, let's start with the Panama versus Trinidad and Tobago. For this game, I predicted a 2-1 win for Panama, and they came out 2-0 victors. I've been doing a very good job with my predictions. Guys, I tweet out my predictions every day if I remember, so follow me on Twitter at Dominic Rich FC. This was the 26th meeting between Trinidad and Tobago and Panama, with Trinidad winning 12, Panama winning 8, and 5 games ending in draws. For Valdez and Panama, he chose to go with a 4-4-2 formation with Mejia in goal, Murillo, Torres, Cummins, and Davis at the back. We had Quintero, Escobar, Armando Cooper, Bárcenas in the midfield with Fajardo and Gabi Torres up top. We had Arroyo, Walker, and Brown coming off the bench. For Dennis Lawrence and Trinidad and Tobago, he went in with a 4-2-3-1 formation. We had Philip in goal, Jones, Cyrus, David, and Williams at the back. Just ahead of them, we had Highland and George, and further in more attacking positions, we had Williams, Molino, and Lewis, and up top, Levi Garcia. I don't think these players played in those exact positions though, because Garcia was on the wings a lot. Trinidad started very well in this game, and they looked good in the first 10 minutes. But when Panama gained possession, they applied pressure and kept Trinidad and Tobago on the back foot. For the first 15 minutes, I would say Panama had the better start. Trinidad and Tobago looked good when they attacked on the wings, but they weren't getting any dangerous balls inside the box to trouble the Panamanian defenders. Throughout the first half, it was a very open game, end-to-end stuff. It was high octane, but no team was able to carve out any clear chance. They had a few half chances, but none good enough to test any of the goalkeepers. At halftime, the game was level, and both teams had a chance to go to the dressing room and come back with a better plan. And the team that came back with the better plan was Panama. Around the 53rd minute, after a period of sustained pressure, Trinidad and Tobago finally conceded when Gabi Torres and Armando Cooper linked up with a 1-2. Cooper held off the defender, went around the keeper, and put it in from a tight angle. Panama took the lead. After scoring, Panama stayed on the front foot, and they forced a save from the TNT goalkeeper. And during that whole play, there was a handball shout, but of course there was no VAR to review it, and it was not given. With TNT on the back foot, Coach Dennis Lawrence had to do something, and around the 65th minute, he made a double substitution. He brought on Jones and Paul for George and Williams, and it looked like they injected some life into the game for Trinidad and Tobago. One of Trinidad's best chances in the game came in the 68th minute, but the Panamanian goalkeeper Mejia came up big. After committing numbers forward, Trinidad was caught on the counter-attack. It was end-to-end stuff, and Panama was attacking. Gabi Torres cutting in from the left, getting a shot off. It was saved by goalkeeper Garvin Phillip. He parried the ball into the path of Bárcenas, who got a really good shot off, but it was saved again by Phillip, and the rebound fell again to Bárcenas, and he put it past Phillip, who did get a hand on it, and Trinidad and Tobago were 2-0 down. They did not defend well at all. When Panama moved the ball with pace and they linked up with the 1-2, Trinidad and Tobago looked really bad. After going 2-0 up, Panama looked fairly comfortable on the ball. Their defense was hardly tested by the Trinidadian attack, who weren't incisive enough. They did not create enough chances in this game, and they weren't able to deal with the Panamanian attackers when they went forward. Panama then forced another big save out of Phillip just before Gabi Torres, who is my man of the match, went off to a standing ovation. The Soca Warriors kept trying, and they almost pegged one back in the 87th minute, but goalkeeper Mejia came up big once again. It was important for them to get on the score sheet, because who knows, it might come down to goal difference in the end. But Mejia kept a clean sheet. Panama picked up 3 points, deservedly, because they were the better team on the day. Guys, if you don't know, in my prediction video, I predicted Panama to top Group D, ahead of the USA, ahead of Trinidad and Tobago, and damn sure ahead of Guyana. So what a way for Julio Valdez and his boys to start off their 2019 Gold Cup campaign. In this game, they had 17 shots at goal, 7 on target. They had 49% of the possession, 476 passes with an 81% pass completion. They committed 12 fouls. For Dennis Lawrence and Trinidad and Tobago, they only could muster up 6 shots at goal with no shots on target. They had 51% of the possession, 497 passes with an 82% pass completion. So they did move the ball around well, they did pass the ball well, but it was in their attacking third of the field that they were toothless. And in their defensive third, they couldn't deal with whatever Panama brought to them. They had possession, but they weren't creative enough. For Panama, their next game will be on Saturday the 22nd of June when they play Guyana. For Trinidad and Tobago, they will also play USA on the exact same date. Panama would definitely fancy themselves versus Guyana to go on to move up to 6 points. Trinidad and Tobago coming up versus USA. Remember, they were the team that dispatched USA from World Cup 2018 when they defeated them on the final match day. So the USA wants revenge. It's gonna be a really mouth-watering fixture to look forward to. But I fancy the USA in this fixture though. Trinidad and Tobago, I don't think they look too great versus Panama at all. And that segues nicely into the other Group D fixture between the host, the USA, and the debutants, Guyana. For this match, I predicted USA to dominate Guyana and defeat them 6-0, but they came up really short, winning by 4-0. I'm disappointed by that result, to say the least. Seriously, I think the USA could have bossed the game a lot more than they did. But nevertheless, they picked up a 4-0 win. They move on top the table in Group D, ahead of Panama on goal difference, and they kickstart their tournament well. Remember, they are defending champions. They defeated Jamaica in the 2017 final, and they will be looking to successfully defend this title after not going to the 2018 World Cup and completely overhauling the team. It's gonna be a very, very difficult task. And I think we've seen some signs of it in the fixture versus Guyana. I was not totally impressed with USA's performance. But anyways, let's talk a bit about this whole fixture. This was the first ever meeting between the host USA and the debutants Guyana. And the fun fact for you, this was the USA's 700th international game, and they brought up their 1000th international goal. So I bet you didn't know that, right? Or if you watch the game, you would have learned that though. But these are for the guys who did not watch the game. As for lineups, Greg Berhalter went in with a 4-3-3 formation with Zach Steffen in goal. We had Ream, Long, Zimmerman, and Lima at the back. Ahead of them, we had Weston McKennie, Michael Bradley, and Christian Pulisic. And further ahead, we had Tyler Boyd, who was brilliant in the game, a bright spot for the USA, Giassi Zardes, picking up a confident boost in goal, and Paul Arriola, who I'm going to say right off the bat, is my man of the match. He was brilliant. He buzzed in this game. Coming off the bench, we saw Trapp, Roldan, and Mihailovic. As for Michael Johnson and the Guyanese team, he chose to go in with a 4-2-3-1 formation. We had Clark in goal, who was a very busy man in that game, and he was struggling with a bit of injury. We had Dover, Van Kooten, Briggs, and Garden at the back. Ahead of them, we had Dons and Bonds. Further ahead, we had Beresford, Marsh Brown, who looked pretty good, Harriet, who was a bright spot as well, and up top, Welshman, who looked like a very decent player. I think he's like mixed with Chinese as well. Coming off the bench, we saw Holder, Jeffrey, and Cox. All in all, despite getting battered 4-0, I think Guyana put on a very good performance here against a team like the USA. The USA are a big team comparing to Guyana. Like seriously. I was expecting them to get blown away. And after the halftime whistle, Guyana was only 1-0 down. That's a really good performance there. And I actually thought they could have shocked the USA by scoring one and keeping things really interesting in the game, because they had quite a bit of possession in the game, but where they were lacking was getting the deliveries in to the men in the middle. They weren't getting the balls in at all. They weren't so creative, but they did have possession of the ball. And the USA are very guilty for allowing a team like Guyana so much time on the ball. But when the USA had the ball, they looked good, they threatened, they moved it very, very well, and you could see when they picked up the tempo, Guyana couldn't deal with it. So that means when you play in these smaller teams, you have to move the ball fast. You have to be decisive. When you have a chance, you have to shoot, because you never know what will happen. You catch players off guard, the ball hits an arm, a face, and goes into the back of the net, because their concentration levels are not as high as yours. I'm talking about the bigger teams here, like the USA, the Mexicos, the Costa Ricas. You could put Jamaica in there. Move the ball around fast and you will catch these smaller teams sleeping. The first goal was scored by Areola, who linked up nicely with Weston McKennie, who passed the ball, and it wasn't dealt with very well by the Guyanese defender. He was guilty of that, and Areola was there to pounce on the opportunity. He hit it very well, and it went past Clark in goal. But Clark was a very, very busy man. He was tested time and time again. Halfway into the match, I was actually commending Guyana for their brilliant rearguard action. They kept off the USA. At halftime, and you only have one goal, USA, you have to do better than that, man. You have to do better than that. But they played a lot better in the second half. Or maybe the Guyanese players got tired. They couldn't keep up with the tempo of the game. Maybe we have to look at it like that. In the 48th minute, Guyana did get a sniff in at goal. A cross came in, but the attacker wasn't able to control the ball. I think it went off his head, went out for a goal kick. Guyana conceded a second when a beautiful ball by Bradley was well taken down by Tyler Boyd. He shuffled, he got his shot off, and it went past the keeper for his first ever international goal. So congrats to the young man. He played very, very well on the day. The third goal came a few minutes later when Areola's shot deflected off the head of the defender, smashed into the face of Giassi Zardes, and beat the goalkeeper, who was quite unfortunate though. Definitely was. Zardes, who has been going through a goal drought, would be a very, very happy man. He wouldn't care how they end up in the back of the net as long as he scores. And I must say that the US coaches are very, very, very patient with that man Zardes. I was actually surprised that Josie Altido didn't even play this match. Around the 69th minute, Guyana finally gave Zach Steffen something to do when they got a really good shot off, but it was comfortably saved by the Manchester City signee. The final nail was put in Guyana's coffin when the man of the match, my man of the match, Paul Areola, linked up nicely with Tyler Boyd, who shuffled, spun, and got his shot off. Powerful, powerful shot to beat Clark, who was very, very surprised. He was amazed that the ball went past him. And I was like, whoa. That was a really, really good goal. So look out for Tyler Boyd in this tournament. If he could use this Gold Cup to take his game to another level, then the US will surely be a force to be reckoned with in a few years to come. But despite the USA winning 4-0, I am not completely satisfied with this performance. If it was a better team, let's say versus Panama, they cannot play like this. They definitely cannot play like this. And going into the second round, they need to keep the ball better. They can't allow these smaller teams to have so much possession. You're talking about 40% possession. Which brings us to stats in the game. The USA had 20 shots at goal, 6 on target. Not clinical enough. Not clinical enough. 60% possession, 561 passes with an 86% pass completion. So they passed the ball pretty well. 18 fouls committed. They were physical. They roughed up the Guyanese players. As for Guyana, they had 4 shots at goal, 1 on target. They had 40% of the possession, which was good. So they would fancy themselves versus, let's say, Trinidad and Tobago. That would be one hell of a match to look forward to. Then they had 375 passes. I think they passed the ball very, very well. A 78% pass completion, 7 fouls. So the fact that they committed only 7 fouls, it means that when they did not have the ball, they weren't that good. You have to be good on the ball and off the ball. If you understand what I'm saying, you have to get the ball back. Your movement off the ball has to be as good as your movement on the ball. I think this Guyanese team has a lot to learn, and if they stick together, who knows? Who knows? In a few years, Guyana could be in the Gold Cup once again. So at the end of the first Group D matches, we have the USA on top the group, Panama second, Trinidad and Tobago third, and Guyana at the bottom. So to predict the next Gold Cup matches, we have fixtures in Group A between Martinique and Cuba, and then we have Mexico taking on Canada. Remember, Mexico smashed Cuba 7-0, and Canada defeated Martinique 4-0. So those two teams started out the tournament really well. But this should be their most difficult match in the group. And whoever wins this game will go on to top it, of course. I'm going to go for Mexico here to defeat Canada. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for Mexico. As for the Cuba versus Martinique match, I'm going to go for Cuba to defeat Martinique. I'm going to go for a high scoring game and say 3-2. It's gonna be really exciting. 3-2 win for Cuba. So guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich, and that's my review of the first round Group D matches for the 2019 CONCACAF Gold Cup, where we saw USA opening their account with 3 points and the Soca Warriors not picking up any points. So from your wake up this morning, you's a winner, yeah. Guys, if you're new around here, consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you like my singing, give the video a big thumbs up. In the comment section down below, do you think that the USA will successfully defend their Gold Cup title? Guys, as I said, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out. Rich Squad.